Hey everybody, my name is James Fresca. I am a video production specialist here at Broadfield. Jim is on vacation this week, so he's not going to be here, and I'm stepping in. But we still wanted to do a show, so today we're going to be talking about BirdDog and the P120 and P4K being Zoom certified. So we asked Robert to join us. He's on my left, not my right. Hey Robert, how's it going?
Hey James, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Now, we were talking about this
Doing
a
great
little
to
bit
hear.
beforehand. I think the audience wants to know what you have that you're drinking right there because it's got a little bit of a story, and I'm boring with a Coke Zero, so yours is more interesting.
Well, no, with your Coke Zero, you're staying in solidarity with me today because this is actually, I hate to say it, but this is non-alcoholic beer. We're expecting a baby in this house, so we're not doing much drinking around here. So I went to the beer fridge and looked around, and I literally had nothing but non-alcoholic beer, which is making me very sad. However, it is my absolute favorite beer in the world, the non-alcoholic version, the Weihenstephaner Hefeweizen beer. So if any of you guys are German beer nerds, you're going to know exactly what that is. So that's what I'm drinking today, and it's actually very refreshing,
Well, I am glad to hear
even if it
that.
doesn't, even if it doesn't really taste like beer.
Yeah, we were talking about that in the pre-show. All of them are not great, but this one's passable, kind of.
It doesn't taste bad, which is more than I can say for most of them, so I'll take it.
All right, that sounds good. So we are going to be doing things kind of a little bit different today. We're basically just going to be throwing you the show so you can do a demo, explain to the dealers how this will affect their customers' workflow, and kind of basically walking them through it. So without further ado, let's just throw it to you, and you have the floor.
Thanks, James. Absolutely. So should be sharing some graphics here. We're going to go through a few things, then we're going to do a little bit of a live demo. I'll explain it as we go along. But again, thanks for having us. Thanks for also recognizing the importance of what's happening here. Since I started at BirdDog over a year ago, as the company grows, the number one question I would get from people is, do you have Zoom certified cameras? And I know that not all of Broadfield's customer base is, sort of tied in to the corporate and education market. Many folks are more on the production sides of things, but part of the reason I'm here at BirdDog is because of the blending of these things. We're basically seeing corporate events become productions, and productions require more technology that was, I think, traditionally just thought of as oh, that's for corporate AV. So we're seeing a lot of blending there. And Zoom certification, there's a lot to say here. So let's sort of dive through it here. Um, so the first thing to say is we have Zoom certification. This is big just because Zoom is acknowledging the importance of bringing NDI and what BirdDog does into their ecosystem. And of course, BirdDog has a big product line. It's really grown like a just massively over the past 6, 7 years. And the camera line is quite robust, obviously. And we can't boil the ocean. We've got to go one at a time. So where I wanted to start with, we're going to talk about the specific cameras that are certified and what that means and how you use it. But let's first, for anybody who's maybe not so familiar, or I find a lot of folks just aren't necessarily keyed in on the exact different kinds of Zoom experiences out there. Let's talk about what a Zoom room is, and then we'll also talk about what Zoom certification actually means. So first, a Zoom room is distinct and different from just the Zoom software running on your computer. Anyone can go to zoom.com and download the Zoom desktop client, they would call it, and host or join a Zoom meeting. And then if you buy an upgraded account, you can get additional participants and extra features and so forth. The Zoom Room takes that to yet another level. Zoom Room runs on dedicated hardware. It's a special build of Zoom that runs on specific devices that are certified for the purpose. It can also be run just on a generic PC or Mac, but when this software is installed and you configure it, it takes over the operation of that device. The base OS is still there, but the entire user experience is changed. Zoom Rooms automatically launches. it automatically goes to the configuration that it's signed into. You can administrate the machine and the Zoom Room software from an internet portal. And so you see devices like, things like that look like an Intel NUC or other kind of dedicated small form factor PC. The controller is a control surface dedicated to the task. And these are just set in a room. And this is very popular in huddle rooms and conference rooms and things of that nature. But where it's also very popular is in much larger spaces like a university lecture hall or auditorium, or a reconfigurable, divisible multi-purpose room in corporations. And these also happen to be very important spaces for BirdDog's cameras, because these spaces 10 years ago would have a very minimal AV experience and be very much tailored to only the participants in the room. But what we have today is these rooms require often a multicam, very professionally produced kind of end product, where we have far end participants. We might be linking multiple rooms together. We might be recording. We might be live streaming. Basically, anything we would expect in an event production is happening in these spaces as well. And as I think anybody watching this stream knows, NDI and what BirdDog does are absolutely perfect for that. And so these are the kind of rooms where Zoom has not necessarily had a certified sort of workflow for folks. And the reason is because the kinds of cameras you would want to use and the actual signal flow itself, in our case, NDI, is not something that they had ever certified before. And so what Zoom is now publicly acknowledged and is that, what they call a pro AV camera, so a camera designed for a broadcast and production type of purpose, as opposed to just webcams for conference rooms. And the signal flows we use, especially NDI, these are worthy of them officially endorsing. And that's exactly what they're starting to do. Now, Zoom is very picky about what they certify, as they should be. They want to ensure that anything that they put their stamp on is going to meet a certain quality level and have the right performance. And then in many cases, Zoom certified devices also, they're actually handshaking with the Zoom Room's software itself in order to enable extra features like PZ camera control and things like that. And so if you guys have any questions about that, what the certification means, the specific functionality, of course, you can get in touch via Broadfield, or if you've got a contact at BirdDog, please get direct in touch. But what I'm going to do now is walk through kind of the technical side of it, what it is that they're allowing to happen. So out of the gate, we have 2 certified cameras, which is fantastic because they're 2 of our workhorses. The first is our P120, which is it's got to be in its price class as a full bandwidth NDI camera. It's very unique and very well positioned in the market. It's an absolute workhorse around here. And then we also have the P4K, our flagship 1-inch sensor Zeiss glass production PTZ. And both of these are certified. And to start, the P120 has a USB port. So that USB port provides, UVC video over USB, so USB webcam functionality. So that is now certified as well, which is handy. But what's really cool is the NDI side of it. And what they've done is certified using the free NDI webcam software as part of NDI tools for that signal flow. So let's take a look at these cameras real quick. We've got the P120. It's pretty small. That's if you look over my shoulder there, you'll see 2 of them lined up right there. So it's relatively compact, has a lot of cool features like an OLED screen right on the front that shows you the IP address and what its operational parameters are. It has a 20x optical zoom. It drives all of its outputs simultaneously, including both NDI and NDI HX now. And this one's great. And then at the high end, we have the P4K 1-inch sensor, Zeiss glass, constant aperture zoom. This is an absolute champ in low light scenarios. Beautiful picture quality, can handle a lot of dynamic range. So this mixes really well with your higher end manned production cameras, things in that nature. So the signal, USB couldn't be simpler. You simply plug it into the USB port on that Zoom Room system, just like you would any kind of webcam. And the P120 is going to work just great with that. Then on the NDI side, what we need to do is use NDI tools. And so I've set up actually a system here. We're going to walk through exactly how that's achieved. And some of the Zoom Room functionality that you typically get today is a little limited for now, and we'll see where that goes in the future, but you're going to see this is actually pretty darn handy. So I'm going to pop out of PowerPoint here. And so a little bit of an explainer here. So I've got a computer running here. This is very much a demo. I don't have like actual dedicated Zoom Room hardware, but I do have Zoom Room software license to work with. So what I'm doing is showing you the screen of a PC. Happens to be the one running back behind my left shoulder. And then here, I am mirroring the screen of an iPad up to the display. An iPad can be a fantastic Zoom Room controller, just like you have dedicated devices from companies like HP and Logitech that are like a tablet-like experience. You can actually just run a Zoom Room controller directly on an iPad, and that's very popular. People just run the iPad in guided access mode to lock the screen out, and now the iPad is essentially a dedicated Zoom Room controller in that room. So I'm doing exactly that here and mirroring that screen up so you can see both of these things running simultaneously. So on the Zoom Room PC, and this only has to really be configured once, is and you need NDI tools installed. So as we all know, that's a free download from ndi.video. And NDI tools includes an application, super handy one, called NDI Webcam. So all you do is click on it and it starts to run. You also in NDI tools have the option to make NDI tools auto launch on start, and it just remembers which devices you've assigned to it in the future. So that's obviously very important as part of this, because anytime somebody restarts the machine, you want this configuration to just come right back like it was. Now, NDI Webcam runs as a service in the background. It makes an icon in your system tray. So all you do is launch it, and you get this interface right here. And you have the ability to bring in up to 4 NDI sources. They could be anything. If it's NDI, it will come in here. And what the application is doing is making the computer think that the NDI source is a USB webcam. So any application on that computer that is looking for a USB webcam, so a UVC device, will see whichever stream you've assigned to it as that webcam. So it's the typical NDI tools experience. You just assign a particular camera. So I'm going to assign a couple here. You can see I already had a couple of others as well. Let's see, let's grab this one here. There we go. So I now have 4 sources assigned into NDI Webcam. Now, you can put all of that away. You don't have to worry about it anymore. It all runs in the background. I can get rid of this window. And as I mentioned, anytime I restart this computer, it's going to come right back. But now I'm going to let Zoom do what it normally does. So when you have, as I mentioned, Zoom Rooms running on a PC, it takes over that PC and it auto launches by default. So actually by installing Zoom Rooms on this laptop, every time I restart the machine, it actually auto launches into this interface, which is exactly what it's supposed to do, but a little annoying if it's not actually a Zoom Rooms device. But as you can see, this is a very appliance-like interface, right? So in a meeting room, this is what you have up on the large display. It's meant to be just a few touches on a touch screen, and that's all it takes for people to use the room. They don't have to navigate windows and apps and software and things like that. It's just a very intuitive interface. In fact, this interface here, the splash screen, is what's up on a display in the room typically. And then in the bottom left, you're looking at this iPad right here that's just controlling everything wirelessly. So of course I can configure it. If I hit settings there, I need to tell the Zoom Room to look at my NDI cameras. And you can see I have the ability in Zoom actually to choose up to 3. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I picked those 3. Actually, you can see I can obviously toggle them on and off. And of course, it's always blocked by a password. Again, this is very much for sort of turnkey appliance-like experiences in rooms. But now that I've configured that, I never have to touch that again. You know, the administrator of the room does this once, and then the users just go from there. So for instance, if I start a new meeting here in Zoom, you first see that NDI splash screen. It's backwards because that's when basically when Zoom is showing you a camera, it's showing you the reverse so that we have that one-to-one motion kind of experience. And you can see that I selected 3 cameras there, and there they are. Zoom just thinks that those are camera sources on the network. So what I have here is the P4K up on the top left, the P120 down over there on the top right, and that's a Zoom certified signal flow. Zoom has blessed that and said that is an okay thing to do in our software. Of course, if I have PTZ controllers, if I have other automation systems or the ability to control the cameras, that's awesome. I can absolutely use that to manipulate the cameras. And then something else I've done here on the very bottom is I've just brought in another NDI feed, which in this case is the output of an NDI router, or you could think of it as basically, it could be something like the output of a TriCaster or other NDI software. Again, the flexibility of NDI is crazy. If it's on the network, you can grab it, you can do what you need to with that stream, which means I can do things like source switching very easily. So I'm using an external control system and I'm swapping between other NDI feeds I have in the network just by pushing a button, including even I'm sharing a capture of just a browser window on the same computer I'm presenting from, but I'm sending that onto the network. And so that's another way to get that into Zoom. And of course, when I'm done with the meeting, it's, you can see this is a very intuitive interface. This is something that everybody who uses these kinds of rooms has become very familiar with. I simply end the meeting and I'm out and it's over with. And what is really cool here is this is a Zoom certified workflow. It's officially blessed. It's always worked though. This has been working for years and it's not just Zoom. If you want to do this exact same kind of thing in Teams or WebEx or GoTo or Google Meet, they all work exactly the same way. What's just awesome about this is Zoom is officially certifying it. So I don't know if you had any questions from that, James, or anything else maybe I'm forgetting to add on here.
No, I think you walked through the entire process. I think if anybody does have any questions, they can certainly call us. They can reach out to their sales rep at Broadfield, and if need be, we'll get them in contact with you. But I think you kind of hit the nail with the hammer in saying that it's really quite simple to set up. And if you are already familiar with NDI tools, you're no stranger to the process.
The breeze.
All right. Well, did you have anything else that you wanted to say? I think
no, that's all.
Okay.
That's all. We hit the points here. I think we'll give everybody their day back. Thanks for tuning in. And again, if you have any questions at all, hit up Broadfield or get in touch with us directly. We'd love to walk you through this in more detail, or talk about it and integrating it into your entire system.
Yeah, no, I think that's perfect. So you guys know how to contact us. Make sure to join us every Thursday at 1 p.m. on LinkedIn and our website, broadfield.live. I want to say thank you to BirdDog and Robert for kind of stealing our show today, but it was super informative, and we'll be here. Jim will be back next Thursday. So that's it. We'll say goodbye for now.
Broadfield Distributing is a value-added distributor of live production, streaming, video editing, and storage products. We only sell to resellers. We are always looking for new dealers, so call us at 1-800-634-5178 or email sales@broadfield.com. You'll like doing business with Broadfield because we make it easy to do business.